Hey there, and welcome to the Rig and Farm YouTube channel, live edition. My name is Nick. My wife Ashley and I own Rig and Farm, located here in Talking Rock, Georgia. I am going to talk about a lot of really cool stuff today, stuff that we've been doing, things that are coming really soon. It is Sunday, 2 p.m. May the 4th be with you. Sorry, I had to get the Star Wars reference in there. Um, I'll start off by going and visiting with the cows. We just gave them some hay and they are loving it. Looks like they're napping in the hay. So let me turn the electric fence off so I can go in there without shocking myself. There we go. Pardon me, the gate is a little loud. Let's see who all we have here. Let's see, we've got Deb right here and Dexter. And there's Derby. On the other side of the fence here, we have Maybelle. She's our dairy cow. Derby is her baby. He is going to be a year old this month, aren't you, buddy? He's a sweet boy. Oh, I was wondering where our little angel was. I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see. So this little guy in the front here is Vince. Then we have Dokes, the other black one. The red one is Quinn. And that's Angel. It's our little month-old baby. Hey, sweet girl. So the majority of our cows are Dexters, hence all of the Dexter-related names. If you've ever seen the TV show Dexter. That is Harrison. He's almost 5 months old. His mama Rita. So Maybelle and Derby are the only two non-Dexters that we have. She's allegedly a Belfair, which means that she's half Dexter, half Jersey. Not entirely sure about that. She's peeing because why not? The farm, what happens around here. Derby is her son. We suspect that he is half Angus because she is a former commercial dairy cow, and most of the time they inseminate them with Angus because Angus semen is the cheapest, and Angus cows have really low birth weights and they grow really fast. So that low birth weight makes for an easy birthing process, which is better for the cow. Dexter here is super sweet. He is very handsome, makes beautiful babies. Like little Angel over there is his daughter. Harrison back there is his son. Be more than happy to answer any questions that anyone has about these guys. So our pasture is not exactly very good quality pasture. The majority of it is this pine and poplar, blackberry bushes, stuff that's not really great for the cows. It's not bad for the cows. They eat the poplar. It's actually pretty good for them, and the blackberries are good for them. They've been snacking on the leaves. We also have 4 sheep back there somewhere. I heard them earlier. But in a few weeks, we're actually going to get a guy to come out and do some forestry mulching. So basically, all of this growth is going to be turned into mulch. And as that breaks down in combination with the manure that the cows produce, it's going to create some really awesome topsoil. We'll be able to get some grass in there, some grass seed, which will just flourish in that super nutrient-rich environment. And then we'll be able to get some cross fencing done. So currently we have 9.5 acres fenced in. We did this all, my buddy Richie and I did this past summer and fall. So Maybelle, Rita, and Harrison, they are in a 1.5 acre paddock right now. And then the rest of the cows and the sheep are in about 8 acres. So we are going to do some cross fencing so that we can have additional paddocks. So we're going to have a total of 6 paddocks, plus basically like a driveway and a little bit of a clearing area so that we can build a house, our forever home, up at the top of the ridge there where we get a really beautiful view of the mountains. So we're kind of future proofing ourselves so we don't have to tear down fence that we worked really hard and spent a lot of money to build. So see, Reed or Deb back there, Angel's mom, she is actually eating some poplar right now because apparently it's really tasty to cows. Um, I'm hoping that my microphone is working. If anybody could be so kind as to comment and let me know whether or not my microphone is working, I'd greatly appreciate that. If not, I can always unplug it and just use the built-in mic of the iPhone, which is what I'm using to video this right now. So yeah, the cows, getting them here this past winter. We spent a lot of time last year preparing for that. Okay, thank you. Appreciate you letting me know that the microphone's working. So yeah, we're pretty excited to finally get some pasture established once we get that forestry mulching done. I'm going to go ahead and walk up to the garden now, and we'll pass the orchard on the way there. You can see the progress of that. A lot of the trees are doing well, some of them not so well. We're not sure if they just haven't broken dormancy or if they just didn't survive the winter. One of the things with bare root trees is they have the best chance to do super well when you transplant them. When they're dormant, you transplant them, and when they wake up, they don't even know that they were moved. Versus getting a potted tree and digging a hole and putting it in there, it will go through a transplant shock. And believe it or not, you can actually shave 5 to 10 years off of the life of that tree. I'm talking fruit trees specifically, which, you know, bare root trees are also a lot cheaper than potted trees, so why not? But with that said, we took a lot longer to dig the holes than we really thought it would take. Digging 88 holes that are 3 feet wide and 18 to 24 inches deep, and then amending those holes and then planting the trees took a long time. We also had some weather that kind of got in the way. It was really hard to dig when the ground was frozen. So if we had some really cold days, we weren't able to work. We had to take a few days once it actually warmed up to thaw to start digging again. Now, we could have hired somebody who had a 36-inch auger, and they could have dug it in a matter of an hour or so. We didn't know that was an option until we were pretty much done. So, if you ever want to dig 88 holes to start an orchard, highly recommend hiring somebody to use an auger to dig those holes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around so you can see. We planted a pasture mix of seed in between all the trees. So it's some perennial and annual ryegrass, a couple types of fescue, orchard grass, red and white clover. So the majority of the apple trees are doing pretty well. We have 9 Gala apples here, and we have 10 Golden Dorset and 9. What was the other one that we got? I don't even remember now. It's been such a long time. We have so many other things going on. The peaches, none of them have budded out yet. So that's really discouraging. Several of the cherries have budded out. But this grass is doing really well. Got a couple wild blackberries that are trying to take over. A couple spots that I guess we didn't get a lot of seed. So yeah, these peaches aren't really doing a whole lot. We've got some cherry action going. Or at least this one variety of cherries. yeah, so let's see. You want to know about the crops with all the weather? Most of them are doing pretty well. The high tunnel prevents rain from getting in for the most part. Get a little bit coming in through the insect screen. We were planting some stuff yesterday evening, and when we were just about finished, it started storming pretty badly. Some water came through, got us wet through the insect screen. Got some compost piles here. So that one should be ready. Probably need to turn it, but it'll probably be ready by the end of summer. That pile's ready to go. That will probably be for fall or next spring. So we're a little behind schedule with our planting plan, the gardening plan, just because the orchard took forever. The high tunnel took way longer than we expected. Not only constructing, but also building the beds. This little bed here are carrots. Those are doing pretty well. We have some lettuce from last year that was in this bed that came back and is doing really well. Got a couple shallots right there that we just stuck in this bed because we had to move them and we didn't want to lose them. Let's see here. This is our Salanova lettuce. We transplanted this a few weeks ago and it was not doing really well, but it's finally starting to perk up and look pretty happy. You can see this one in particular. The outside leaves not looking so hot, but we have some really nice, beautiful, healthy growth in the center. And that one's doing pretty well. We have 4 different types of lettuce. We have this is a red, what's that one called? Red butter, and that is green oak leaf. That one is red tango, and that one is called green crisp. So 2 red and 2 green varieties that have different textures and different flavors, but they're supposed to be the most delicious lettuce on the market. It's the most expensive lettuce seed on the market, so hopefully it'll pay off. I'll take a look in the high tunnel. It must be warm. We have a thermostat for the fan to kick on when it hits 75 degrees in there. It was not running when we were in here not too long ago. We've got a bunch of our hanging flower baskets in here. I apologize if the fan running in the background is noisy. Let's see, what's the temperature here? It is currently 83 degrees in here. It's, what's the temperature out? It says it's 63 outside right now, so 20 degrees warmer, which the peppers and tomatoes really like this weather. We got down to 51 degrees this morning. We actually rolled the sides down to help keep some of the warmth in, knowing that we were going to have a really chilly morning. So we have about 80 jalapenos and 20 habaneros and 6 Tabasco peppers in this row. And we've also planted some cilantro. Yesterday we planted some cilantro seed throughout this row. About every 6 peppers or so we planted some cilantro, and in about a week we'll plant some more, and then a week later we'll plant some more. A week after that we'll plant some more, and then we'll be ready to harvest and start the process all over. This is what we did this afternoon. We planted 100 ruby red onion starts, so those will turn into a nice medium to large size red onion. Have several tomato varieties in here. Let's see, so this first variety of tomato we actually don't know what the true variety is called. We got some seeds, actually I take that back, we got a plant from another vendor at the farmer's market last year, and they said that this heirloom tomato has been in their family for generations, and the person they got it from, her name was Susan, so they just called the tomato Susan. And we grew some last year. We got about a half a dozen or so off of the one plant, and we saved some seeds. It was a really nice, beautiful, deep red heirloom variety. So we took those harvested seeds and planted about a dozen of those into our garden. They're not doing, they're not huge right now. We started those a little bit later. We got them in the garden anyway. Back there, we have something called Woods Famous Brimmer. That is supposed to be a really nice, uniform red tomato that looks kind of like what you'd expect to see at the grocery store, but actually has a really good flavor. We have some pineapple tomatoes, which are like an orangish colored heirloom variety, really flavorful. Brown sugar, that's supposed to be almost smoky, like a dark purple, brownish tomato, a smoky flavor. Blush, those are a small, like plum-shaped tomato that are really sweet and delicious. We didn't have a lot of success with them last year, but those that we did harvest were absolutely delicious. And the main problem was that we had a lot of rain. That was, well, I take that back. We had very little rain, but when we did get rain, it was really intense and caused most of our tomatoes to split. So we didn't get a great yield because of that. So this row of tomatoes, as you can see, we actually have a lot of green scallions, green onions, planted in between all of these tomatoes. But this row, the first half of the tomatoes are Amish paste, which are a really good paste tomato. So that's what you want to use for your sauces. It's kind of like aroma, but bigger. Like some of those will actually get like 10, 12 ounces per tomato. The next batch here is a pink Belgium. Those are supposed to be as big as 1 pound or even more per tomato. So we're pretty excited to see how those do. The plants are already like really healthy and have grown faster than pretty much every other variety we've planted. The next row, the first half, we have some sun gold, which are like a cherry tomato. It's like a kind of yellowish goldish color, really, really flavorful, smaller tomato. And then we have the Cherokee purple tomatoes and the last of that row. So this row, you probably saw a bunch of holes. So we have a yellow variety called Dr. Wykes that we're going to be planting in there. We have 25 spaces reserved for Dr. Wykes. It's a really good, sweet, low acidity tomato. All right, let me see. It's hard to maneuver with all these trellises. So we posted a video, a YouTube short. Anyone else have posted it on Facebook and TikTok, this clipper system for trellising. It is pretty cool. Basically how it works is as your tomato grows, you move the clip up and you move this higher and you force it to kind of climb up this where you want to go, and the steel cable is holding the weight of the tomatoes, and eventually the tomato will actually be clipped to this metal hanger. So pretty easy way to trellis. Yesterday we got a little over 100 of these Texas early sweet onions. Those are also a nice, good sized bulb onion. So here we have all of our sweet peppers in this row. So we have this orange sun sweet, so that's an orange full-size bell pepper. And then we have over here California Wonder. I believe that one's a red. And that's a full-sized tomato. No, it's not tomato, pepper. And then back here we have an Eros, which is, I believe, a yellow mini bell. So it is a sweet pepper that's just a little bit smaller. Well, we have one that's not looking so hot. It's okay, that happens sometimes. You can always swap it out with another one. And then back here are the Cupid red mini bells. So just like on the other side of peppers, we planted some cilantro throughout. And then on the tomatoes, we did some tangerine gem marigolds. Planted 5 in each row. I think we did 5, maybe it's 6 or 7. I don't even remember. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we planted 7. So these are not like your standard marigolds that you see for sale at your big box stores or your nurseries. These actually produce a much smaller edible marigold, and they smell really good. I was actually really surprised when we were transplanting them yesterday how good they smelled. So pretty excited for those to take off and produce some flowers. Also in this row, we started a couple basil from seed. And on the opposite side of the tomatoes, we have planted 7 of the tangerine gem marigolds in this row as well, and some basil. And now on the inside of this row and this row, we started a succession of dill. So kind of like we did with the cilantro seeds, we just started from seed, some dill that every week we'll plant some more seeds in the next spot, and we'll be able to harvest and sell the dill. Now the dill, the basil, the cilantro, they are all really beneficial to have in here. And we're also going to be putting some sweet alyssum, which is a type of flower, in the outside beds on the opposite side of the irrigation from the onions. And those attract pollinators and deter pests. So, and they're also a flower, and they're really beautiful. So we'll be able to sell flowers and then also have the benefits that it brings. So this Bootstrap Farmer high tunnel, it's 52 feet long, 20 feet wide, about 12 feet tall. And we just put the 50% white shade cloth over it. We need to either safety pin or clip it or something because it's preventing airflow through this insect screen, which, as you can maybe able to see, there are bugs on the outside of the screen that are not able to get into the garden, which is pretty awesome. This thing took a lot longer to put together than we anticipated. Ooh, got a ladybug there. Let's see, there it is. Ladybugs are always welcome in the garden. The peas are doing pretty well. We have some English peas as well as some snap peas. We are probably not going to be selling any of these at the market because peas give you a very, very low yield. You have to plant like about 100 pea plants per person to peas for the year. That's assuming that you're going to freeze or can peas as well as eat them fresh. And we didn't even plant that many for our family. So it's just something nice to have. The kale's still doing really well over there. With some mustard greens that went to seed, cut the seed heads off and fed those to the pigs. They really enjoyed those. But yeah, we're just really behind schedule with the garden because of all of the projects we've been working on between the orchard and getting the first of the 2 high tunnels. We're going to be building another high tunnel on this side. We have part of it done. I'll show you that. So we have all of the ground posts and the hoops, and we have the ridge pole down the center. The next step that we have to do is put the purlins in. So the purlins are essentially the same thing as the ridge pole, but they're on either side. We did get the corner braces installed. So once the purlins are done, then we can put in the vertical poles for the end wall, and then we'll be able to get the doors installed and start putting the then we'll put the baseboard and the hip board, which are, so this is the hip board. It's what holds the plastic in, and this is about 5 feet off the ground, and then the baseboard is on the ground at the base. So we'll get that situated, and we'll put the plastic on, get the roll-up sides on that side. And so these, let me go over to the roll-up sides to show you. Pretty neat. So with a hoop house, high tunnel, greenhouse, whatever you want to call it, you have plastic that goes all the way down and traps heat in and also diffuses light. Raising and lowering the plastic can be a bit of a pain. We have these reels, these cranks, that you basically just do that and it lowers it or raises it. It's super convenient. So this evening, before it gets too cold, we'll go ahead and lower both of these, and that way our plants are protected, because tomato plants don't really like anything below 55. They got to like what was it, 51.9 this morning. At least that was the air temperature. The soil temperature is probably a little bit warmer than that, so they'll be okay. Peppers can handle a little more cold than the tomatoes. All right. So we have a lot of other fun things coming up. Like we're going to be building 4 buildings this year. The first 2 that are going in are going to be a wash and pack slash storage building. So we already have the grading done for that. So that is going to be a 30 by 40 foot steel building, fully insulated. And we're going to be able to have an 8 by 12 walk-in refrigerator in there. And we'll have sinks to be able to wash the produce and dry the produce, keep produce, milk, and eggs chilled in the walk-in. Have all of our seeds starting to take place in this building. We'll have all of our racks that we have our grow lights on. And basically, this building will enable us to remove most, if not all, of the business-related items out of our house and move them up here, closer to the garden. So just from an efficiency standpoint, it'll be nice, but more importantly for me anyway, it'll just be able to declutter the house a little bit, and we'll have a nice delineation. So we'll have the work stuff in the work building, the home stuff in the house. That'll be really nice when that happens. So the problem with this building that was really frustrating is when we went to go get our building permit before we get our foundation poured, is they said that we would need to get a septic permit, because if we have a sink, we need a septic system for the water to drain into, which our original plan was just to run some pipe and basically use the gray water to irrigate our orchard. That seemed like the sustainable way to do things, but because the government's involved, they're making us pay lots of money. So 2 weeks ago, we had a soil scientist come out to do a percolation test to make sure that we could, in fact, install a septic system with drain field and the water would properly drain. And that was $600. Tomorrow, I will be going to the county office with those test results that just came in the mail Friday evening, and be able to apply for our septic permit. They'll have to come out and do an inspection to see where the building's going to go and where the proposed drain lines are and everything. And then we'll get the septic permit, and then we can get our building permit so that we can actually get the foundation poured, which means that we're also going to have to do some plumbing in order to actually have all of the water go to the septic system. And also we'll have a water inlet for the well that we're going to have drilled around here somewhere pretty soon. So we'll have a brand new well that'll be supplying water to this building, as well as to the garden and the orchard for irrigation. Uh, so because we're getting a septic system, something that wasn't in the initial plans for this building is we're going to go ahead and put a bathroom in there. We're going to just do a little 5 by 5 half bath with a toilet and a sink. And at least that'll give us a place to use the restroom without having to go back down to the house. And then also this building, because it will be very spacious, we're going to be holding classes in there. So rather than renting some space like we've done in the past, or having outdoor classes, which sometimes with weather can cause things to be postponed or canceled, but we'll have an actual indoor climate controlled space to be able to do classes. So that is really cool. So if you want to come out and learn how we start seeds, how we transplant, or anything else that we do on the farm, it'd be a really good classroom type setting. And then we can just walk outside and take a look at the practical aspect of what we do here at the farm. The other building that we're going to get done very soon is we're going to be putting a farm stand right here. This is going to be an 18 by 25 foot building, and 10 by 18 will actually be enclosed, and that's where we'll have our refrigerator and freezer, register, and all that stuff. And then we'll have a shoppable 18 by 15 foot building. See, somebody just asked, "Are you John Mullen?" I don't know who that is. My name is Nick Riggin. My wife Ashley and I are the owners of Riggin Farm. We have our sign right there. It says Riggin Farm. Um, got some flower beds up here. I'm not sure if we've ever posted anything on YouTube about our flower beds. So got some roses, some pansies. We've got a bunch of irises, some gladiolas, some creeping phlox, a bunch of other hyacinth, lots of things in here. So something that's really fun, but not so much, is we put 3 rose bushes in each of these beds. We thought we were getting 6 red roses. They were like a really deep red, and one of them died in this bed here, and then on the other side, we thought that one had died as well. Luckily, it was symmetrical, so the center and then the 2 that are closest to the driveway survived, and they both turned out to be yellow, which is not deep red. So we bought a replacement of the yellow one for this side, and I'm not sure if you can see. Let me get a little bit closer and flip the camera around. But it's actually like a pink kind of color, and when it opens up, it's almost like a salmon color. So not the yellow like these others that it was supposed to be. And then on this side, the rose bush that we thought died actually came back to life, and it's the color we actually wanted. So we were supposed to have 6 that were that color, ended up with 4 that are this color, and then the pinkish salmonish color, which, whatever. We have been raising some new chicks to add to our laying flock. We've been moving them in a chicken tractor every day. So got a bit of a mess right here. All of these trees got knocked out in order to grade for our farm stand, and we just need to go through with a chainsaw when we find time and get those removed out of here. It's funny because I'm saying like we have no time, but here I am on YouTube live streaming when I could be super productive. But I work really hard, like 6.5 days a week. So taking a half hour to an hour to do something I enjoy and to share our progress, it's I think it's okay. So we've got some chickens here in this chicken tractor, and I've been moving them every single day. And they get access to mostly clover, a few weeds, a little bit of grass, but they will just completely decimate it. So this is what it looked like this morning after I moved it. And then this was the day before, and the day before, the day before, the day before. So it actually does grow back, because this is about a week ago is where they were on this area. So it does grow back, but they are fertilizing in addition to cutting down on our feed bill by eating all of this super nutritious growth. They're they're about 3 months old now, so they'll start laying in the next month and a half to 2 months. So they'll go out with the rest of our layers. So we'll be getting they'll bring us up to about 100 layers. So we should be getting about 80-ish eggs a day on average, which will be pretty cool. Let's see. I'm not sure if there's much of anything else going on. Oh, I guess the other future projects I mentioned, we're getting 4 buildings, and I told you about 2 of them. So our home is right there. We're going to get all of this growth cleared. We're not going to get it forestry mulch. We're just going to kind of grade and just kind of push this stuff out of the way, maybe put it into a burn pile to burn this fall. But we are going to be clearing that area and then putting in our dairy barn relatively close to the house. And then we're going to establish some pasture for the cows in this area, and it'll be kind of adjoining the orchard. And then the last building, we'll go back down to the cows because it relates to them a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, so the dairy barn will be about right here, and it's going to be, I think that one's 22 by 30 feet. Half of it will be enclosed, which is where the milking stand will be. Milking stands, we're probably going to do 2 stanchions. And then we'll also have be able to do some storage in there for some feed. And then down just a little bit further from there, we need to get this other area cleared. So right in here, where we have tons of wild blackberries and some other stuff growing, we're going to clear all this, and we're going to put in a feed / hay barn. So we won't need to do a concrete pad like the other 3 buildings. That'll just be a gravel pad, and we'll be able to just stack pallets of feed and hay. And hopefully, with time, that building will become obsolete and can be repurposed for something else. Maybe we can turn it into like a barn dominium kind of thing, have a place for guests to stay. Because once all of this turns into lush, beautiful pasture, we'll not have to worry about bringing in hay anymore, or feeding the cows anything. And then the pigs have been going through quite a bit of food. Actually, since we've sent a lot of them, we've sent 8 pigs to the butcher so far this year. I need to call tomorrow to schedule another 2 to 3 pigs. I haven't decided yet. Should have enough room for 3 pigs by the end of this month. So we'll go ahead in the freezer, I mean. And then also that'll give somebody an opportunity, if anybody wants to order a half or a whole pig from us between now and then, we'll already have some pigs scheduled so we can meet their demand relatively quickly. But another plan, that's probably a next year or the year after plan, is that we're going to clear some other overgrown areas that's kind of like in between our house, the pigs, and then the road, and do a food plot there so we can try to grow the majority of the food for our animals so we don't have to buy feed anymore, or at least greatly reduce our food bill. Their goal in the next 5 years is to be about like 90% self-sufficient when it comes to the farm operations, having to actually bring very little in between harvesting seeds for the following year and having perennials that just need to be maintained. We don't have to worry about fertilizer because we're going to be producing all the compost we need. We're able to feed all of our animals with stuff grown here on the farm. There really won't be much of need for any outside inputs, basically making all of our products pure profit, with the exception of like packaging, labeling, processing of animals, that sort of thing. But I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Haven't had too many people on here. Very few questions. That's okay. Feel free to comment about anything you saw in this video. If you're watching this when it's no longer live, feel free to comment anyway, and I'll try my best to answer your questions in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.